This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. Not everyone is careful with your personal information, which might explain why there's a victim of identity theft every 5 seconds in the US. Fortunately, there's LifeLock. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity. If your identity is stolen, a US-based restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year by visiting lifelock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Now's a good time to remember where tequila's story truly began. In 1795, Cuervo invented tequila.
Cuervo.
What are you doing here?
Cuervo. Anytime someone says Cuervo, I show up.
Well, I do know that to be true, but even during ad reads, like...
Cuervo.
I think you could lay out, especially for one of our great partners.
Sweet, delicious Cuervo.
Since then, Cuervo has stayed true to its roots. The same family, the same land, the same passion.
Cuervo.
So, enjoy the tequila that started it all. Cuervo.
Cuervo.
The tequila that invented tequila. Proximo. Cuervo.com. Please drink responsibly.
Cuervo.
Welcome to the Big Suey, presented by DraftKings,
Why are you listening to this show?
the podcast that seems very similar to the other Dan Le Batard podcast.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize for that.
In fact, the only difference seems to be this imaging.
I have been tempted in restaurants just walking past tables to grab somebody's fries that if they're just there. That hasn't happened to you guys?
I've done it.
And now, here's the marching man to nowhere, Fat Face, and the habitual liar.
This episode is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
That OKC defense pretty good, huh?
Hey, that was a good game. That was like a throwback playoff
It was
game.
not a good game.
It was terrible. Did you watch
That
or
was-
no?
That's playoff hoops, baby.
That's a good
That's
game.
a good
25
game.
points in the first quarter with 37 missed shots.
Denver had scored 8 points the entire
8
first
points
quarter.
in the first quarter.
And I thought they were going to win that game.
I love that game.
No,
It was a great game.
The Nuggets were late in the third period. It was not a good game. It was terrible.
No, don't be like this. Basketball was basketball in the
Love
90s.
it.
That was a nice 90s
Love
ass
it.
game. That
Love
was a
it.
great 90s basketball
listen to
game.
me. It was not, okay? And OKC, like one of the things that's just fascinating to watch. It really is super interesting. So many years ago, D'Antoni says to James Harden, we're going to get up 53s a game and you're going to have 15 assists. And I remember Harden's quote, "Coach be tripping." Like, no way, no way. No, what are you talking about? D'Antoni's ahead of the curve. He almost knocks out that Golden State team because they were slicing up the math so much. Take 53s, take 53s. I got into such a huge argument with Boston, and it felt so good. It felt so good because Boston's built the fastest car. It's the greatest thing ahead of everyone else by just a little bit, but holy shit, look out. OKC will smother you. And Chet Holmgren, when he introduces himself, he's not saying forward or center. He's saying athlete. Like, I don't know if that team can knock out Boston, but I do know that I would have liked to see Boston tested by Denver. And I do know in the last few years, I've never seen Jokic look like that. 0 for 10 from 3. What are you talking about?
He's exhausted, though, Dan.
Of course, because they're young. They're young and they're hungry and they want his shit.
Right. That's the part.
That's great.
I keep hearing Jokic is finally exhausted from carrying the team. No. He's playing the team that won 68 games in the regular season. Like, that's why he looks like this.
Denver also plays like 6 guys, right? Like they don't have a bench, which is the other bigger issue in the series.
It's not just 6 guys. It's through 3 quarters in that game. Denver's got other guys getting free throws. It's just Shea. It's just Shea. But they grind you down. And what you're not noticing is, oh my God, the game plan is now that the Wolves are just going to slowly eat the elephant over the course of the game and series because the MVP of the league, Denver, is not a great team. When he's on the floor, their plus minus is historic. When he leaves for 3 minutes, they're terrible. Like, it's not a great team. It's a champion because that guy was that for 3 years. Best offensive player I've ever seen, Michael Jordan included. However, when the 68-win team is young and we've been talking about Shea, and people aren't paying attention, no, they ground you to dust on defense.
Yes. So why are you arguing that it's a bad game? Not to get too bogged down in this, but like it gave you moments. It actually had a point differential that was tight for most of that game. That's playoff basketball, which is all about drama. And the way that these point differentials have been going is you don't even have the opportunity for drama. It seems as though teams know that the game is over once they're down 20 outside of outlier New York Knicks performances. That was a good game. And now And now you actually see it. Like, I came away so impressed with OKC, despite them not playing their best basketball game, because they found a way to win on the road while they didn't play their best basketball game. It was a gritty effort, and that's a kind of effort that jumps off the screen in terms of like, oh, this team has a toughness about them that might actually be enough to get them over that hump.
Looking at the box score right now of the game.
An atrocity.
So, no. I loved that game last night because I love that style. But the score at the end of the first quarter, 17-8.
25
so
points.
It was dreadful.
SGA had as many points as the Nuggets had.
It was dreadful. And Denver was only winning. Again, they were shooting 30% and up 5 only because they were getting a few more free throws. It was just dreadful to watch.
Oh, man, it was great.
I think it was great, too. In the first and the fourth quarter, half the game combined, the Nuggets scored 26 points.
They have nobody outside of their big three, and Aaron Gordon's been playing amazing this series and this playoff.
I thought he only dunked.
Can I tell you about the Boston argument? That's my fault. That was bad analysis by me. And a lot of people have been pointing out, like I've gotten so much of this weekend. They've been pointing out some form of screaming and yelling at me because my analysis of Jason Tatum was the following, and I guess I mean it as an indictment, but it just seems obvious to me.
I'll decide. I'm a judge.
Okay, so what I was telling you about Boston's got the fastest car for now. They gamed the system, right? They got the best three-point shooters, and they got Porzingis at 7-3 stretching the floor, and nobody in the East will probably beat them. They're still favorites, even though they were down 2-0 and going on the road, because I think we all feel like whatever can beat them is out West. Maybe Indiana. Indiana plays them tough.
Dan, I have to say something really quick. You were right about the Pacers. Wow. You've been right about the Pacers since the break of the holidays. The Pacers are incredible.
The Pacers could beat the Celtics, had the position to beat the Celtics last year. But this, to me, is the interesting part where I get into a fight with Boston. Because I was saying, where are Jason Tatum's moments, is what I was talking about. I was saying Jalen Brunson, in the last series, to extinguish Detroit, gave a generation of sports fans for the Knicks something they will never forget. It's not a championship, but it's a moment. And so I was asking, where are Jason Tatum's moments? And Boston was infuriated. I was just getting pelted with Jason Tatum, no moments. 2023 Eastern Conference semifinals versus the 76ers. Most points ever in a Game 7. 42 minutes, 51 points, 17 of 28 field goals, 5 assists, 2 steals. I guess that's not a moment.
I don't remember that.
No, well, hold on a second. It's not a moment. It's a game. A game is not a moment. You know what a moment is? A moment is, why don't Karl Malone and John Stockton have a championship? Give me a moment.
The push-off.
But I'm just saying, like that, those are the moments, and it's the only thing he doesn't have. And I don't mean it as indictment, but I do wonder, and I think it's fair to wonder, when we can now measure Jalen Brunson in the fourth quarter is great. We can say Jason Tatum is an amazing player, third best in the league this season,
You can say
had
that.
the best first round of any player maybe in the entire postseason. And we can also say, to date, he has not been tested in a way that wouldn't make him just a front runner on a team that can win by 20, that he doesn't have the moments you remember that you can point to. And so I'm just wondering, when Boston points out, and I won't even point out that game was against James Harden. I won't even point out that 50-point games don't mean what they used to.
Embiid did nothing in that game, too, by the way.
My dog's spitting right now.
I would just ask you, like, it was such a weird argument to have with Boston. Do you not know the difference between games and moments? Because I'll tell you, here's a moment. Carlton Fisk is a moment. Ask everybody whether they won the World Series that year or not, or whether anyone knows whether the Boston Red Sox won outside of your city.
Well, they famously had a drought of World Series, so they know they didn't win the
I'm
World
just
Series
saying that
year.
I'm guessing. I'm guessing if you ask people this home run, this image, young people, and you say, did this win a championship? The answer would be, of course.
Yeah, I had no idea, actually. I just know if he's blowing the wind one way or the other. I don't know if it was this way or that way.
Because it's a moment.
Larry Bird in his short shorts with a towel. That was also a moment.
It's down the left field line. So
Okay, I'm a judge. So I could tell you saying that Jason Tatum does not have any moments. Where are the moments? I officially rule that's an indictment.
wow.
And I rule with prejudice.
Judge Zaslow, I've told you guys.
I always rule with prejudice.
What?
Yeah, I made my ruling with prejudice.
That's all about prejudice. Yeah.
Kind of like the judicial system now.
Sort of. By the way, just put this on the poll. Is there any such thing as wrong anymore as Qatar gets into the game with $400 million palace in the sky for Trump? Just put on the poll. Is there any such thing as wrong anymore? I will tell you the story. Can you guys look this up for me, please, what year this was? I can't remember which Olympic village it was, but would it have been Atlanta? It may have been 30 years ago, but I'm introduced to the idea of Qatar because I didn't have any familiarity with it. And the way I'm introduced to it is they were trying to launder their money by buying Bulgarian weightlifters that were clearly cheating to represent Qatar in weightlifting, and that's the quaint little way they got into the game as a rogue nation with oil money. And I think I have this right when I say it's 1992. Is there any such thing as wrong anymore? Because Mike Ryan's trying to run on a platform of right now the biggest political movement in the United States is I was not wrong. I will never admit I'm wrong. I'm just going to churn ahead. There's no such thing as wrong anymore.
While I try to push the country forward and admit whenever I'm wrong. Wow. Earlier this series, I called Brad Marchand a rotational winger. He's been probably the most consistent. I lumped him in with a group that was unfair to really Jonah Gadjevich, mostly because I omitted him from the list of rotational wingers that I'd personally rather have out there than Brad Marchand. But again, I love the franchise more than you. And by the way, the polls are speaking for themselves. People are saying that we've reached consensus here, haven't we, Billy? I care about the Florida Panthers more than Sasha Barkov.
Okay, I'm going to get back to that. I'm sorry I let that go because it's one of the most ridiculous things ever said by a human being.
Now the people are siding with Mike on this one on both Twitter and Instagram right now, overwhelmingly so.
Overwhelming. Look, you guys decide that the second a rival that has treated your franchise and its players like absolute garbage, that you would welcome into your open, warm embrace.
Don't mince words. He's saying you guys are spineless, the two of yous.
I think that your loyalty isn't to the front of the jersey, isn't to the crest, whereas mine cannot be questioned because I will hate Brad Marchand forever.
My loyalty is exactly to the front of the sweater, is exactly to the crest, is exactly to the shield, and that's why I root for Marchand right now because I root for the front of that jersey. I don't care what the back of that jersey says. I don't
it says Marchand.
I don't care.
It's the back of the jersey says Marchand.
You see that shield right here?
Yeah.
This is what it's about.
You don't deserve to. You would probably walk all over that crest in the locker room.
Exactly. Real Panthers fans would rather lose this playoff than win with Marchand. Without a doubt, in my mind.
I mean, I would take it as confirmation bias that they made the wrong move.
I'm feeling like Mike at this point, Roy. I don't know how you feel about it. I'm feeling like Mike is almost actively rooting against the Panthers and rooting only to be right.
You'd rather be right.
How dare you? No.
He is.
No. Roy?
Yes.
How dare you?
Yourself.
How dare I? How dare you?
Yeah.
Everyone knows.
Roy, what are you rooting for?
Everyone knows how much I care about this franchise.
Trap, set, and caught.
You got him.
Wow. You're supposed
unbiased
to be
member of the media.
Impartial member of the media who just admitted to rooting for the Panthers.
I wear my emotions on my sleeve.
Roy, he got your ass there.
What did you guys get?
Got his ass. We got his ass.
You got his ass.
Got his ass because he does this thing where he's like, I'm an unbiased member of the media. I don't really care about that.
We got his ass.
We got his ass.
Right.
No, I'll admit it.
He tried to argue that he cared about the Panthers more than me.
I will admit it.
Okay, go ahead.
Right at you. I will admit that I'm rooting for the Panthers. You know why? Because I've been rooting for the Panthers
Pull
for 30
those
years.
credentials right now. Pull those credentials right now.
How dare you?
We can't have that in the press box.
Who here set up a Panthers promo table and a prize wheel at a gas station in their life?
I have, actually.
You did. I won a prize, actually, I think.
Who?
Yeah.
Now it's my turn, right?
Community engagement. Who called season ticket holders?
That's a nice credential. Now it's my turn, though, right?
Is it?
Who in here was a Panther broadcaster for several seasons?
Oh my God! Here we go.
I mean,
With
broadcasters. That's a very transient position.
Here we
Look
go.
at this guy. Not only with the fan, but with the
Mercenary.
broadcaster.
You go where the jobs are.
I was a producer for
I
a
was
season.
a Panthers broadcaster until the Heat were good. Then boom, I jumped over like a trollop to the Heat bandwagon. Then I'm a two-time championship broadcaster. And then the Heat, I'm a Heat fan after I wasn't a broadcaster. And then the Heat weren't good anymore. Boom, now I'm a Panthers fan.
Well, now you're talking like a crazy
patterns.
Did Michael Yormark ever ask you for a printout?
Wow.
He asked me for a printout. Did he ask you for a printout?
I don't want this comparison off. I don't want. Look.
Did you ever share elevators with Mike Keenan?
Mike did.
Oh, not Mike Keenan.
You know what?
Keenan and Kel.
We've got a penalty, 5 minutes. Major asshole.
I can't have you in here,
Zaz, out of here.
saying you care more about the Panthers.
Roy, out of here. Dan, don't worry, I got this. Roy, Zaz, out of here. Hit the road, Jacks.
No. But he might be right about Mike
kicked,
Keenan, though.
Dan just kicked you out. You have to respect this. Dan has kicked you
Billy,
and Zaslow
it is
out of
not
here at
Wild
this
Willy
moment.
Wednesday, Billy.
No, it's Monday. I'm here. I'm trying to enforce the rules that these two are not abiding by. Guys, Dan hit the button. You got to go. We'll be back. Don't worry.
Pretty sure the penalty box door is open for you.
Really?
No,
Is
they're
that
right.
so?
They're right.
Challenge.
Actually, they're right. Actually, I don't know how they did this, but it's actually on you.
That's bullshit.
It is.
I got to tell you, I agree with Mike on Mike Keenan.
Yeah.
Having to share that elevator with him, that must be
Roy, you're going to have to leave as well. I'm sorry.
Okay,
You're going to have to leave.
Rules
Thank you for
Rules are
your
rules.
last second appeal, but
geez.
you don't love the Panthers as much as you do.
Well,
The people have spoken.
The thing that just happened now that is just truly shocking, and they did trap you, and I can't believe it. Usually Roy is savvier than this. I don't know if the second round of the playoffs has gotten to him. I don't know if the last 2 days of shit yourself, especially overtime in Game 3 when he pretends to not shit himself, when he was shitting himself, has made it so that he's more susceptible to being trapped by Mike and Billy. But it's happened. I just witnessed it. He just admitted he's not a journalist. I was shocked by that.
It's just been a crazy week for journalism. First, Pablo's just making up stories about the Belichicks according to UNC, and now Roy's doing this. I mean, what's going on?
And the horse.
Can you guys tell me what's going on with old highfalutin Pablo? 11 sources?
Jordan finished, was it third?
Second.
I've seen conflicting
It
reports.
was third in Maine.
Third in Maine?
It was
Well,
third,
what was
wasn't
the
it?
second?
I thought it was
Second was
Let's
last year.
get down to the bottom
Second
of
was
this.
last year.
So I saw a report that she finished the exact same spot, but conflicting reports. Here's one thing that's for sure. She didn't win, and she was not happy about it. But surprisingly, according to reports, BB was there.
Yeah, duh.
He was there.
I did, yeah.
So despite like all of this like PR spin, like they thought, no, public appearance at this beauty pageant, that's a good move.
Can we call Pablo because this is going to be the Peabody of winning journalism he does? 11 sources.
If Taylor's a source, you got no sources.
I felt bad for Jordan because like that quote, like there was one anonymous quote that Pablo attributed. She's the worst person I've ever met, and I deal with actual sociopaths. That was
That's harsh.
I mean, that would be hard for anybody to hear.
All right.
You know, when you celebrate 50 years of Miller Lite, I had to bring in a Miller Lite aficionado, Greg Cody. I mean, no one says Miller Lite like Greg Cody. When I think of me and you, I think of us on a golf course. Where else are we at?
I mean, on a cruise ship, in my backyard.
At the beach.
At the beach is a good one.
And what do we always do? We hear that.
Oh yeah.
And then what do?
We toast.
We that nice little clink. The clink. Whether it's the can or the bottle, there's something about the clink of the Miller Lite.
Yeah, and it's not just how much we love it. It's the whole ritual of it. You know, the popping the top, the sound of that. Yeah, it's great. Love it.
From game nights to parties with friends or a special anniversary, celebrating important occasions means more with the coolest people in your life. Cheers to 50 years of Miller Lite, the great tasting light beer for people who love beer since 1975. Now's the perfect time to celebrate legendary stories with friends, family, and a great tasting light beer. It's Miller time. The simple ingredients, that malted barley for rich, balanced toffee note flavors and that iconic golden color.
Yes, it's one. Everything about it is wonderful. I can't think of anything bad.
You're smiling. Ever since we started doing this ad read, you have just been smiling the entire time.
I'm a Miller Lite guy.
That kind of thing. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Game Time is the official ticketing partner of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz. And folks, as the baseball season continues to unfold here, there are all sorts of great games happening this week and this weekend. I'm thinking specifically the Cubs are in New York this weekend taking on the Mets. I know the Dodgers are playing the Diamondbacks and into this weekend. There's some really good games. Even the Red Sox against the Kansas City Royals. There's really good games happening throughout the week. And if you want to be able to attend any of these baseball games, which you should, Game Time makes getting tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. You guys know that I want to get out to Pittsburgh and watch a game at that ballpark. I've made it clear on this show several times. And for me, the reason I know I'm going to use the Game Time app to do it is because they have the lowest price guarantee. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code Dan for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DAN for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
okay, so I thought I was good with money. Turns out I was really good at ignoring it. Like, how am I spending this much on delivery or Uber? Or that one shoe store that I buy too many shoes from. Then I started using Monarch Money, and dude, it's a financial wake-up call. Monarch's not just some budgeting app. It's basically your money command center. Puts everything, accounts, credit cards, investments, into one place so you're not guessing anymore. And listen, I found stuff I didn't even know I was paying for. Since I started using Monarch, I'm tracking my spending, actually saving, and yeah, even having money check-ins with my wife, and we're looking at each other and we're like, yeah, okay, we're all good. It makes the hard stuff way easier, and over 1 million households use Monarch. It was named the best budgeting app of 2025 by the Wall Street Journal. So it's not just me hyping up, it's legit. It's real. Real deal Holyfield, and get control of all of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code Dan at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code Dan.
Dan Le Batard.
Lightning, Panthers. What do you think?
Stugotz.
Look at this face while I tell this to you. Okay, because I don't want there to be any kind of confusion. You look me right in the eye. Panthers are going to take that ass, man.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
UNC denies it, okay? And this is funny to think about. Maybe we should get Pablo on here because he's been accused by Marcus Jordan and Larsa Pippen, excuse me.
Carry on. Play on for me.
It should be. Thank you, Tony.
That's a play on Dan.
See, Tony, thank
Marcus
you.
Jordan.
This is what happens when you I was thinking about this should be the Jordan rules, banned from campus. Like, this is so stupid. And honest to God, of course the machine's going to fall on this woman. You can't have...
Did you see
You can't have someone strong. You cannot have someone strong and a woman challenging this particular construct in a way that makes Belichick look like he's getting run around and isn't like he's not thinking clearly. It's really unfair to have this, the whole machine batter her here because it's such a male machine. And I'm not even saying, like, I don't know whether she's an opportunist. I don't know whether she's a gold digger. You can have whatever your idea of love is. I would say this, just in general. I'm guessing Bill Belichick hasn't been doing a lot of exploring of his innards on what relationship growth should look like over the course of the last 50 years of being obsessed with that stupid thing and how big and giant it is to win at that level. My guess is he hasn't been paying a lot of attention to his relationships outside of football. So I don't know what's happening there. Obviously, everyone's curious about it. But Pablo reporting with 11 sources, and Billy, I think you just betrayed Pablo by saying if Taylor was one of them. I didn't even think of that.
Why is that a betrayal of Pablo?
No, Taylor.
I'm putting my journalism hat on.
Taylor, like a lot of Tar Heels on this one, head in the sand.
Wow.
Head in the sand.
Everyone is eating at the trough of how ridiculous it is in the modern age to watch one of the great industry tycoons, giants, geniuses be apparently, for all to see, run around by a 24-year-old woman who might be ambitious, and how uncomfortable that might just generally make threatened men.
Definitely ambitious. There's no might be. Jordan's definitely ambitious.
I know, but whatever. She's taking advantage of the same opportunity Belichick's taking advantage of, which is like there's a business opportunity right here for both of them that makes her famous. Like makes her like I don't know if she actually wants this coming her way, right? Like this is a pretty terrible kind of famous, but wherever it is, the generational gulf is. She was in a Dunkin' Donuts Super Bowl commercial. Like whatever she wants from attention is here. And my guess is in an early 20s, there's no one equipped to deal with what this attention looks like when it's blessed football you're coming after. And you have the audacity to be a woman who wants some of the money.
Can I ask a question? Why do we care about this so much? Like, why is CNN having on multiple guests to talk about Bill Belichick's relationship? Like,
because it's fascinating.
But it's not like if you want to be taken seriously as like a news outfit, why are you covering this story?
Does numbies.
That's correct.
Okay, it does numbies, but that's why you can't be taken seriously as a news outfit after that. Because like, if this is what you're deeming news in a time where there's actual real crazy news going on and you're wasting time on this for ratings, like, pardon me for not taking you seriously.
Mainstream media's dead.
Is Is this not fascinating? This is super fascinating.
It is, but like
This
not
is
for
like-
actual news networks. This is below them.
It's just
this is like fun for TMZ.
Yeah, no, I get you.
News is dead, Billy. It's being killed right now. I will tell you, Pablo Torre's podcast has just rocketed to the top of everything doing business.
Oh, I know, but like
he's
this is
got
like
a
smut numbers.
Well,
is
but
what we're,
I mean,
like,
didn't
trafficking.
didn't this go up to another stratosphere though? Like on a true news program on CBS Sunday morning, like didn't this kind of unfold through a traditional media mean? Did it not? I think that's where it was everybody.
It was CBS Sunday morning.
Yeah, I think that's where everybody paid attention, and like not just football fans, but casual people are like, wait, what's going on with one of the greatest head coaches of all time, if not the greatest? He's dating
But like we're largely not reporting anything. It's all just gossiping about like, his relationship.
So that's where some of the more interesting stuff has been from the gossip. Like, why are they so murky about when they met? And then in Pablo's podcast, they kind of theorize she might have been 19.
Okay, so just so you guys know, okay, because Pablo Torre's podcast is a place, as media shakes and crumbles, is a safe space for independent microphone conversation. I will tell you, for those of you who are worried about the future of our show because, hey, why is this Stugotz? Why is he stepping back? Well, I would like all my friends to have giant businesses, and Stugotz would like God Bless Football to be a giant business, and he's going to make it a giant business. And Pablo's going to make Pablo Torre Finds Out a giant business. And David Sampson has already made Nothing Personal a giant business. And that's why we left and did what we did, so that we can have, people take up their brands and be independent. And then when the corporations come around now, as you have people,
Eyes on the prize here. This is about Jordan.
She did finish third, by the way.
Hold on.
She was a second runner-up.
Second was last year.
That's where the confusion is.
Hold on. I'll get back to the smut of Jordan. I'm just saying Pablo Torre's doing actual journalism, and in this case, he's in the gutter for clicks, but he's got 11 sources, and he's more informed than all of you on this subject matter because it's not even his first time tackling it. What I'm saying is, wherever it is you might think it's smut, you dismiss a podcast you're not listening to because he's insistent upon doing it with journalism, even if this is smut and even if this is the thing that gets the clicks, because obviously everybody, it's not just that it's fascinating, everyone's like, what's going on there? Like, what this person,
someone should find out.
This person is a genius. This person he conquered the sport, and then he goes from that to gaming the system, right? Gaming the system. Goes straight to college. I'm hugely famous. Nobody in the pros will take me. Atlanta's asking to interview me a second time and declining me. Okay, clearly the end of my career, right? Like I could probably get a job somewhere, someplace, or I couldn't get the Atlanta job. Like, right, I was free and people don't like whatever I'm doing because not unlike Riley, hey coach, you got too much power. And Kraft is making documentaries saying he's the one that did that with Brady and you were just kind of there. And then you're putting in your book, in that CBS Sunday morning show, you're putting in your book no mention of Kraft because you think you deserve the credit. So how does that get run around by a 20-year-old, and how is North Carolina reacting to it? Scared and looking at the buyout, I imagine, because he's got Strahan on Friday. And this thing, it'd be funny to see a Titan toppled by his inability to control generationally what's happening with who he's dating.
Do you think there are odds out there on him never coaching a game at UNC?
His buyout does go to $1 million in a few days. I think there's plenty weird about this, and I'm not even talking about the age goal. I really don't even care about that. I honestly wouldn't really think twice about it, truly, if it were behind the scenes. But like, this guy is so well known for keeping distractions away from the team, and he has brought one of the biggest distractions in the history of football that people cannot get enough. Like, it's transcended. Like, yeah, there have been like sporting scandals where people who care about sports care about it. This is now Us Weekly. Like, you're at the checkout lane in your supermarket and think about what I'm telling you.
People are still doing this?
You know about Bill Belichick's dating life and how it's hurting his football team. This is the antithesis of what Bill Belichick has done in the public eye.
Big hypocrite.
This scandal is bigger than him hiding a killer in his locker room.
It's certainly bigger than Deflategate. This is bigger than Deflategate. This is getting people to care in more profound ways.
That was not hiding a killer. He was not
In
hiding
plain
it.
sight, Dan.
hiding.
In plain sight.
He wasn't aiding and abetting.
Aiding and abetting.
We don't know.
At best.
We don't know.
We kind of do.
We don't know for sure.
We don't know for sure. Judge Zaslow?
Do we know or not know?
Legally speaking, he was also never convicted.
We do not know.
We do not know.
We do not know.
The buyout on Belichick's contract drops from $10 million down to $1 million in a couple of weeks. And
Steve Martin's as well.
That's not fair.
I was repeating it so I could add the information.
Emphasis.
I mean, like you care more than
I'll go.
You care more than Barkov, and well,
accountability.
No,
I was wrong to do that to you.
You can stay there. Okay. You can stay there.
Thank you. We found common ground. Thank you for working towards a solution.
Okay. You can care more than Barkov about Panthers hockey.
Thank you.
But you do not know, despite your arrogance, what I'm going to say next, even though you always think you do.
Well, I'll be the judge of that.
Okay.
You write it on a piece of paper,
Yeah.
give it to Zaz, and then
Yeah.
Mike has to guess what it is, and we'll see if we're right.
The buyout on Belichick's contract drops from $10 million to $1 million in a couple of weeks. And Pablo Torre, who's going to join us in a little while, is very interested in the clicks, said on the Foxworth podcast today, there is a, quote, absolutely real chance that Belichick does not make it to week 1.
Oh, give it a number, coward. There's a real chance. That's not a
Cowards on another network.
I'll admit it. I was wrong. I wrote down attention economy.
Also, by the way, like, is this really bad for North Carolina, a team that finished 12th in the ACC
won't have a
last year?
coach.
Like,
Dude,
more
this is
people are
bad.
talking about them. I don't think
Any
it's
pub,
bad
good
for them.
pub.
This is bad.
Just go get Larry Fedora again.
This isn't bad for them.
This is bad because I happen to know, like, I wish Pablo talked to me because I would have been a good source. He's not going to be there for long. He doesn't want to be there for long. He doesn't want to. He
It's
reminds
fun.
people often how close he is to the all-time wins record. That is my reporting, according to my sources.
You're reporting that?
Yes. And there was like a weird time in which he stopped talking to UNC when the Dallas job opened. Like, he does not want to be there. And I think what finally registered with him, with this whole hiring, whole new PR and everything like that, is this is actually impeding his path to get back to the NFL.
Oh, that ship has sailed.
No, he's finally paying attention to it in ways that are like, oh no, like I think I might have done damage here. The NFL does not want this Jordan circus.
I think flip side. Let's focus on the positive. Greatest coach ever, right? We would at least
Don't
up
look
for
at me
debate.
when you're saying right.
I'm asking you up for debate.
You don't
One
think
of the
so?
greatest coaches ever.
You don't think so? Not the greatest coach ever?
No.
Who is?
Shula.
Okay.
Okay, well, whatever. One of the greatest coaches ever, aside from Shula, if he gets North Carolina into the college football playoff, I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to tell you right now, because of how important football is to all these schools, there's going to be another Jordan statue in North Carolina, and they may take down the first one.
Wow. Air Jordan.
Write that down. My sources are telling me that.
Okay, your sources combined with my sources. I'm going to go back here and do real journalism, unlike this Peabody, Pablo Torre finds out guy.
Now,
because
please.
I will say UNC is denying Pablo's report. He will come on in moments and tell us what's up. I just want everyone to know that we broke this news right here, that this was Bill Belichick leaving an apartment with the Ring doorbell cam. We did real journalism around here.
Great audio on this.
We did not break this news. We did not secure this video.
We did not. No. That's correct.
Babs on the mic
That's
did.
correct. Yeah. That's right. Babs on the mic did, and we borrowed it. But I think we were among the first to introduce it to others as we're pretty sure this is Bill Belichick, and it's not just Bill Belichick. It's clearly Bill Belichick.
I can confirm.
And what he's doing there is the Tibbs workout. Have you heard Brian Scalabrine say what the Tibbs workout in? Still goes into the weight room. What do you think he benches? What do you think Tibbs benches?
20-year-olds?
I would say 260.
Man, I love this
I
audio.
can't wait to know.
That's a 315 guy if I've ever seen it.
You think so?
That's a 315 guy if I've ever seen it. That's
how
three
much does it
plates.
weigh?
That's 3 plates on each side, 3 caddies on each side. Tibbs, all he's got to do is this. He got short arms, right? That's
Yeah,
why people with
he
short
does.
arms bench so well. You just got to go right to the chest, right to the chest, right
Short
to the chest.
people really have a crazy advantage in the weight room. Like,
They
it's
really
unfair.
do. They do. They
you get
build
swole
muscle.
like that.
They build muscle
You
like
don't have to
crazy.
go as far on anything. Squats, too. It's
Frustrating.
crazy.
It's very
It's
frustrating.
so annoying.
They're better running backs.
Got cursed with these goddamn long limbs. What am I supposed to do with them? Jeez Louise.
Forgive me because I did not. You said Tibbs isn't tall, and I think of him as 6 foot. I don't think of him as short. I think of him as short compared to the people he's standing next to. I think he is 6 feet tall. I think. Do I have this wrong? I know he's.
I have him stalking
know
in
he's
like short limbs.
All right, put it on the poll. Hold on a second. At Le Batard Show, is Tibbs 6 feet tall? He benches 3, according to Brian Scalabrine. Brian Scalabrine is the source on this. He does a great show every morning on NBA radio with Frank Isola. Brian Scalabrine reports that Tibbs goes into the weight room, does 315 10 times, throws it back up, leaves, no core, no nothing else. That's what he does. That's the Tibbs workout. And it's clearly the Belichick workout.
All chest.
Thank you, Tony. That's exactly what I was saying.
All chest, baby.
Yes, that's it.
I mean,
but again,
there are residual benefits for the triceps.
Tom Thibodeau is 6'2". Kayvon Thibodeau is 6'5".
Thank you. That's also very large.
Both got recruited to play for Oregon by Mario Cristobal.
The funny thing about the size of basketball players, I was telling Valerie this. We had really good seats one time close to the court, and she was asking me something about the small, quick guy. And I'm like, the small, quick guy is taller than me. And she's like, that's not true. And I'm like, no, he is. It's like people think Steve Kerr's not big. Steve Kerr's like almost the size of Tom Brady and Peyton Manning.
Didn't Dwayne Wade just do like a commercial or something where he was like, yeah, that's short people? Because everyone saw him and they're like, Dwayne Wade's so short. He's like 6'4".
But I think you just did that to poor Thibodeau. I don't think of him as short. You made me underestimate him because he's 6'2". That's almost bigger than you, and you were making fun of his height.
Yeah. Listed 6'2", and he's, like...
with shoes on.
Yeah, mid-60s now. We're shrinking.
Like, you would think Steph Curry's small. He's like, really tall.
Yes.
How old do you guys think Tom Thibodeau is? You'd be surprised. How old do you think he is?
62.
I would say 59.
Uh-huh.
I think that he's been made ragged by the sport and lived the single life for long enough. I'm going to say 30 years in basketball will make him look 75, but he's 57.
Any other guesses? No? Okay, he's 67 years old.
Whoa!
Yeah.
He looks great.
He looks great for 67.
Looks 67
really
for 40 years.
Time to come home, though. He's got to shave the head.
No. It's the secret to looking younger than 67.
Yeah.
If he shaves his head, then he'll look
The
every bit.
secret is just go do 315 10 times and leave the
all
weight room.
chest, baby.
I'm sorry. Is anyone looking at him saying, like, I got to get on that guy's plan?
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is anyone looking at Tibbs and saying, I've got to get on that guy's plan? Please keep that sound behind me for the rest of the show of just that creaking.
It's my favorite audio.
It seems gratuitous.
Let's keep doing that to Pablo and see. You know what? Don't tell Pablo that we're going to do it and see if he points out at any point, hey, what's that sound, guys? And we can say it's Bill Belichick clearly now in retrospect leaving Jordan's apartment. She may have been 19. Pablo Torre finds out. Are there birds?
Yeah, they're all
beautiful
birds.
day.
Yeah.
It's a morning bird. It's a good morning bird up there.
It's really early.
That felt like CBS Sunday morning show. It's a little creek. There's a woodpecker over there. And also listen to the bird.
Hey. One little bird out there.
The thing about Tatum, I guess you could say it's an indictment because I could also say that team is so well built and wins by so much that there aren't very moments to be had at the end of games. Like they don't need them to win, and it's like it's almost one of the greatest compliments I can give if they weren't ruining basketball by being better at math than everybody.
Yeah, that was a lot of threes that went in. It's tough to watch when so many threes go in. Why do so many threes go in now? Why do so many threes get taken now? Someone needs to do something about this.
Do you guys understand, like, one of the funniest thing when I'm talking about D'Antoni, there's some great sound there from his brother. See if you can find it, about the stupidity of how we were playing basketball for years. Get Patrick Ewing to try and get a contested shot that's worth 2 instead of taking the more valuable shot that's 3. It's how Pat Riley won for years. It was always in the post. It was Kareem, it was Zoe, it was Patrick Ewing, and then the whole sport changes, and at least in part in 2010 because I can make these pterodactyls be able to guard everybody, switch with everybody, and then just be such specimens that I make everyone 6'9", and I throw a Draymond out there who's better at defense. Like, Draymond is to defense what Rodman is to rebound, savant. I throw that in your mix, and all of a sudden, if I circle him with just the unbelievable shooters, I'm going to dominate the evolution for 10 years.
There was that one season, I think it was 2013, with the Heat, where for at least the first half of the season, they were like against shooting threes at all. LeBron wasn't shooting threes. Wade wasn't shooting threes. Remember, it led to the one game when my friend had a wager was in courtside. LeBron shot a threes that game. Anyway, I do wonder. You've told this story before. You've told this story before. And I do wonder, like, if we were to ask Eric Spoelstra, great coach, super smart, like, what would he say if we said to him, back then in 2013, why didn't you know that maybe shooting lots of threes instead of all mid-range shots, like, why didn't we know this earlier?
I understand how everyone can be fooled by patterns and what they're used to and not wanting to change. I mean, I'm seeing in football all the time, the sport gets revolutionized by when the Buccaneers have Jameis going 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions, they finish 7-9. When they get Tom Brady and eliminate the interceptions, championship. And Brady's still great, but absurd that would happen in its 40s. Like, the team was clearly good enough, and they exploited the market, the market on turnovers, because Aaron Rodgers won an MVP by saying we'll have 5 turnovers a year from this position. And then late in games, when you need to win for some reason, Aaron Rodgers falls apart, wherever it is that James Harden falls apart. But in Boston, they have a machine that for 18 months has been ahead of the game, dominant. Drew Holiday was really important. Porzingis. That machine, 53s a game, is going to play the D'Antoni way. But OKC caught up. And you're going to need to beat Shea in moments with Tatum. Like, that's how that's going to look later on. OKC just showed you how to beat Denver. They're the only thing that can make Jokic look like that. There's nothing else in the world that makes Jokic look like that. And it's just because it's feeding on him. It's young, and it's feeding on an elephant that's trying to carry the entirety of championship basketball. When you saw what it did, these guys broke up after 4 years. Durant leaves and hates Draymond. LeBron and Wade aren't going to work together anymore. We don't want to play together. The Jokic era is right now. He's tired. Because how could he not be? He wants to be with his horses. He's playing more games than anybody else. And that thing's going to be fed on by the young people because that's how competition works. It's fascinating.